Pressure. It is the invisible hand that separates those who dream from those who do. It is the force that reveals who is prepared and who merely pretended to be. Pressure is not the enemy. It is the truth teller. It exposes weakness. It magnifies discipline. It unmasks the mind, and most will fail when it strikes, not because they lack talent, not because they lack opportunity, but because they were never built to withstand it. Understand this. The great ones, the Edisons, the Fords, the Disneys, the Lincolns, they did not escape pressure. They embraced it. They invited it into the very core of their being, forged in its furnace, tempered by its weight. But most people recoil. They flinch. They crack. Why? Because pressure does not ask for permission. It demands proof. It does not respond to wishes, only to preparation. You see, when the moment comes, when the lights are the brightest, when the stakes are the highest, when the voice of doubt whispers loudest in your ear, you will not rise to the level of your dreams. You will fall to the level of your preparation. That is why most fail. Not because they are weak, but because they have trained themselves to be. They have tolerated mediocrity in the shadows. And when life puts them in the arena, there is no muscle to call upon, no habit of courage, no reflex of discipline, no mind sharpened through hardship. Pressure is not created in the moment, it is revealed by the moment. If your identity is not built before the battle, you will be exposed during it. That is the law, ancient, unchanging. Yet what do most do? They seek ease, they chase comfort, they engineer lives with padded walls and soft landings, and then they wonder why adversity cripples them. Ease is the enemy of preparation. Comfort is the thief of resilience. History is littered with the bones of those who thought their time would never come, until it did. Consider Edison. Over 10,000 failed attempts at creating the electric light. 10,000 nights of pressure, ridicule, self-doubt, and failure. And yet, he welcomed it, because each failure was fuel. Each setback was sharpening his mind, hardening his will, forging the man who could stand under pressure without folding. Most would have quit after 10, after 100, after 1,000. But Edison understood. You do not get to choose the number of trials required. You only choose whether you remain standing through them, and standing is a habit. It is not built in ease. It is built when every part of you wants to retreat. But you move forward anyway. Ford faced ridicule when he envisioned a car for the common man. They laughed. Pressure mounted from every corner. Financiers, competitors, even his own team. But Ford did not fold. He did not seek permission. He did not wait for the world to agree. He stood, and that is why his name is known today, not because he avoided pressure, but because he carried it further than others dared. Most people fail under pressure because they have never trained themselves to see it correctly. They believe pressure is a wall, but it is a door that only opens for those who prove they can bear its weight. If you run from the weight, you lock yourself out of the future you say you desire. Pressure is a privilege. It means you are playing a game worth losing. It means you are in the arena while others sit in the stands, and make no mistake, the arena is merciless. It does not reward intentions. It rewards execution under fire. That is why you must become the person who does not flinch, who does not shrink, who moves forward when logic says retreat. Because pressure is not going away, it is coming. For every dream worth pursuing. And when it arrives, the question will not be, are you talented enough? It will be, are you trained enough? Are you disciplined enough? Are you forged enough? This is where most fail. Because they have mistaken talent for toughness. They have been told that passion is enough, that vision alone will carry them through. It will not. Discipline beats passion under pressure. Consistency beats intensity under pressure. Identity beats motivation under pressure. The greats do not wait to feel ready. They train so that readiness is no longer required, only execution. That is the standard. It was the standard of Carnegie when he built his steel empire, of Disney when he envisioned a magic kingdom in the face of bankruptcy, of Lincoln when he led a nation through war with half the country praying for his failure. Do not pray for lighter pressure. Train for stronger shoulders. Because here is the truth no one tells you. The pressure will always match your potential. The greater the future you seek, the heavier the weight you must bear to reach it. And if you cannot carry it, the future will not open for you. Not because life is unfair, but because it is precise. You are either the person who can carry the weight, or you are not. The pressure will reveal it, and no words will matter in that moment, only what you have built. So I ask you, what are you building today? When the stakes are low, are you leaning into discomfort, or avoiding it? Are you training your mind to stand under fire, or to seek escape? Are you rehearsing toughness, or retreat? Because under pressure, you will default to your training. If you have trained for resilience, resilience will appear. If you have trained for excuses, excuses will dominate. This is why most people fail, because they have trained themselves to. They have chosen ease over growth, comfort over courage, distraction over discipline. For so long that when life demands their best, there is nothing left to give. And by the time they realize it, it is too late. The moment has passed, the opportunity has closed, and they are left wondering why it all slipped through their fingers. But you do not have to walk that path. You can train differently. You can live differently. You can become the person pressure cannot break, because you chose to build the unbreakable long before the moment arrived. It begins now, not tomorrow, not when things are easier. Now, lean into discomfort. Pursue what others avoid. Chase the Azor. Wait that will forge you, not the path that will coddle you. Because in the end, life belongs to those who can move through fire without burning. To those who can stand tall when the world tries to crush them. To those who have chosen preparation over fantasy. And in those rare moments, when pressure is highest, when the world holds its breath, they will not be the ones who fold. They will be the ones who rise, because they trained to. Because they built themselves for this very hour, and the world will see it, unmistakable, undeniable, the mark of a life forged under pressure, not destroyed by it. And once you understand this truth, once it burns itself into your mind, you will begin to look at adversity with different eyes. You will stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this making of me? That shift alone will separate you from 95% of the world. Because most people cling to a fragile illusion of control. They live life believing that circumstances owe them comfort, that their dreams should arrive without adversity, that the world should part before them simply because they desire it. But the world owes you nothing. And the sooner you release that fantasy, the sooner you begin to gather real power. Because here is the ultimate paradox. Pressure is not there to stop you. It is there to transform you. It is not a signal to retreat. It is a summons to rise. It is not a punishment. It is a proving ground. The men and women who walk the earth with true power, the ones whose names are carved into history, are not those who avoided hardship. They are those who welcomed it as the price of greatness. Winston Churchill once said, "To each, there comes in their lifetime that special moment when they are figuratively tapped on the shoulder and asked to do something great, their destiny, their calling. And when that moment comes, you will not be given more time to prepare. You will not be granted a second rehearsal. The tap on the shoulder comes when it comes, and what you have built is what you bring to that hour. Most people fail because they squander the time they had to build. They wait for motivation. They wait for certainty. They wait to feel ready, and life passes them by. But the greats, they understand that every small decision, every invisible habit, every unseen hour of discipline is preparation for an hour they cannot yet see. And when the hour arrives, they are ready. Not because they knew it was coming, but because they trained for it anyway. Look at Lincoln. When civil war shattered the nation, he was not chosen because he was perfect. He was chosen because he was forged. Years of personal loss, professional failure, public humiliation. All of it had carved into him an uncommon resilience, a mind that could bear unbearable pressure without bending. This is the game. You do not rise to meet the pressure. You prepare so that pressure is powerless against you, and most will not do this because preparation is lonely, because discipline is thankless, because forging yourself in the dark requires faith. The faith that when the light finally shines, you will be ready to step into it. Most people quit in the dark. They crave applause too soon. They need the world to see them before they are worthy to be seen. And so when pressure arrives, when the lights finally hit them, they are exposed. But, you must learn to love the darkness, to thrive in obscurity, to train in silence, to do the work no one sees so that you can stand unshaken when the world finally does. Because this is the pattern of all mastery: obscurity, discipline, pressure, mastery, impact. Skip any part of the cycle and you will fail, and most do. They romanticize the end result, the impact, the fame, the reward, but they skip the forge, and the forge is what prepares you to carry the weight of the reward without being crushed by it. Understand this. Many people attain success. Few can sustain it. Because the pressure of success is often greater than the pressure of pursuit and the ones who collapse. They were never forged to begin with. They were inflated, not strengthened. That is why you must reject shortcuts. You must reject the temptation to arrive too soon. Because if you skip the pressure, you skip the growth. And if you skip the growth, you will not survive the reward. This is why most people fail under pressure. They have sought comfort, not capacity. They have sought applause, not preparation. They have sought the appearance of strength, not its reality. But if you desire to be one of the few, one of the rare, one of the unbreakable, then you must choose a different path. You must choose to be forged, to seek the weight others run from, to chase the pressure others avoid, to willingly stand where the air is thin and the burden is great, because you know that is where power is built. And make no mistake, it will not be easy. Pressure will test your mind. Pressure will tempt you to compromise. Pressure will whisper, lies, you can't take this, you're not ready, you should quit. But you must be louder than the lie. You must anchor to your purpose so deeply that no external force can move you. You must train your mind to see adversity not as a curse, but as the cost of greatness, not as a burden, but as a builder. And you must remember that every moment of discipline, every rep of resilience, every act of courage in obscurity is money in the bank of preparation. Because when the day comes, when the lights are on, when the world taps you on the shoulder and says, "Now is your moment," you will not fold, you will rise, because you prepared when no one was watching, because you trained when no one was cheering, because you became the person who does not fail under pressure, but grows stronger within. This is your call. Do not waste another moment because the pressure is coming, and when it does, you will either be ready or you will be revealed. And when you understand this deeper truth, when it is no longer just words you hear, but a conviction you live, your entire relationship with life changes. You stop fearing difficulty. You stop resenting setbacks. You stop fantasizing about a path without friction. You begin to crave the forge, because now you see what few can see. Pressure is your ally, the sacred fire that reveals the gold beneath the stone. Without it, you would remain soft. Without it, your potential would rot in the vault of the unrealized. Do you think Carnegie built an empire without sleepless nights of doubt and fear clawing at his mind? Do you believe Lincoln held a divided nation together without standing alone in moments so dark they threatened to consume him? Do you think Edison birthed light into the world without being crushed beneath the failure of 10,000 shattered dreams? No. They bled for their greatness. They broke and rebuilt themselves stronger. They stumbled and stood taller. They faced relentless pressure and welcomed it, because they understood this eternal law. Pressure is not punishment. It is preparation. And if you seek greatness, if you dare to climb beyond the herd, you must tattoo this law upon your soul. Pressure will not go away. The world will not soften for you. The mountain will not lower itself because you are tired. You must rise. You must strengthen. You must become the force that pressure cannot bend. And that is a choice made every single day. Each morning you either train the mind or weaken it. Each hour you either discipline your habits or corrupt them. Each challenge you either face the fire or flee from it. And every one of these moments is adding weight to your foundation or eroding it. You must decide, will you be the one who collapses when the storm arrives, or the one who stands unyielding as others fall? That choice is made long before the storm. It is made in the dark hours, when no one is watching. When you choose to show up again and again, not for applause, not for validation, but because you have committed to becoming someone the world cannot break. And that commitment, that unwavering loyalty to your own evolution, is rare. Most will quit. Most will negotiate with mediocrity. Most will sell their potential for the cheap currency of temporary comfort. But not you. You are here because you know, somewhere deep inside, that you were not built to be average, that you were not born to fade quietly into the shadows of history, that your life was designed for more, but only if you become more, and that becoming happens through pressure. Pressure that grinds away the weakness. Pressure that demands your best. Pressure that reveals what you truly believe about yourself. Because here is another truth most will never tell you. Under pressure, you cannot fake strength. You cannot hide behind words. You cannot camouflage insecurity with noise. You cannot bluff your way through the fire. The fire will know, and it will burn away every illusion. Only what is real remains. That is why I tell you, do not fear the fire, run to it. Because it is in that crucible that your real power is born. When you train your mind to see adversity as ally. When you stop shrinking from the weight of responsibility. When you embrace the fight as part of your purpose. You will find within yourself a force you did not know existed. A mind that does not waver, a spirit that does not yield, a presence that cannot be moved. And the world will feel that presence, it will respond to it, because true power cannot be faked, it can only be forged, and the forge is pressure. Now hear this carefully. The goal is not to become numb to adversity. It is to become immune to defeat. Feel the fear, feel the doubt, feel the weight, but do not obey it, do not surrender. Move anyway, act anyway. Speak anyway, because courage is not the absence of fear. It is the conquest of it, through action. And, as you conquer fear again and again, something extraordinary happens. You begin to trust yourself in a way the timid never will. You begin to build an identity rooted not in fleeting confidence, but in unshakable conviction. I do not break. I do not fold. I do not run. And when that identity takes root, the game changes. Because now, pressure is no longer a threat. It is a familiar companion, the proving ground you have prepared for. And while others falter, you will advance. Not because you are better than them, but because you trained when they rested, because you sacrificed when they indulged, because you chose the harder path when they chose the easy. And those choices compound, until one day, cheer when the hour of testing arrives, you stand alone where others fall. This is what it means to be forged under pressure, to become the rare one, the unbreakable, the undeniable, and make no mistake. The world is hungry for such men and women, hungry for those who can carry the weight without complaint, hungry for those whose word is stronger than circumstance, hungry for those whose presence commands respect without speaking. But such power is not granted, it is earned, through pressure willingly embraced. And that is the path I am inviting you to walk, the path of the few, the path of the forged, the path of the unbreakable. You will be tested, you will be opposed, you will be doubted. Good. That is the price of the crown. Pay it without hesitation. And when the fires of life rage around you, when others tremble, you will smile, because you trained for this, because you were built for this, because you chose this path. And because in that hour, the world will finally see what you have always known. You will not fail under pressure. You will rise within it. And when that day comes, when the storm is at its peak and the winds howl louder than ever, you will understand a truth that few ever grasp. It was never the absence of adversity that made the great ones great. It was their capacity to dance within it. Most people fail under pressure because they see it as opposition, but pressure is not opposing you. It is inviting you to rise, inviting you to evolve, inviting you to become. Understand, the very presence of great pressure is a signal that greatness is within reach. Pressure does not visit the inconsequential. It does not stalk the weak or the average. It seeks those who are attempting to build, to create, to lead, to matter. So, when it comes, do not ask, why me? Ask, why not me? Why not me to bear this burden? Why not me to forge through this fire? Why not me to emerge with wisdom and power others will never know? This is the mindset of the rare, the uncommon, the elite of mind and spirit. They do not curse the pressure. They welcome it as a signal they are on the right path. And with each trial, each test, each wave of adversity, they adapt. Adaptability is the secret armor against pressure, the rigid break, the flexible rise. Pressure does not demand perfection. It demands progress. It demands the capacity to bend without breaking, to shift without losing your center. Look at nature. The oak that stands rigid in the hurricane is often torn from the earth. But the reed that bends with the wind survives and stands again. It is the same with your mind. If you cling to one way, one plan, one identity, you will break. But if you adapt, if you evolve, if you flow, you become unstoppable. Carnegie adapted, Ford adapted, Disney adapted, Lincoln adapted. Every time the pressure mounted, they shifted without losing their essence, and that is your task. Evolve under pressure. Do not resist what must be changed. Do not cling to what no longer serves. Gratitude fuels this adaptability. Gratitude turns adversity from enemy to teacher. When you can look at the pressure and say, thank you for shaping me, for testing me, for revealing where I must grow, you become invincible. Because now even loss becomes gain, even failure becomes fuel, even defeat becomes instruction. Gratitude turns the darkest moments into the brightest catalysts, and most will never do this. They will curse the very forces that could have made them great. They will fight the pressure, resent the test, shrink from the forge, and so they will remain small. But you will rise because you understand, the higher your gratitude, the greater your growth. Pressure is not here to crush you. It is here to craft you, and gratitude is what turns the hammer into a sculptor's chisel. Now hear me clearly, none of this will be easy. I will not lie to you. There will be days when you question your path. There will be nights when the weight feels unbearable. There will be moments when quitting will seduce your mind with its false promises. And in those moments, you must remember, the pain of discipline is temporary. The shame of surrender is forever. Feel the weight, welcome it, carry it, knowing that every ounce of pressure you bear is building a version of you that the world cannot touch. And here is the final truth. In time, the very pressure that once terrified you will become your strength. The forces that once seemed overwhelming will bow before your will. Because pressure, like iron, sharpens the edge of the prepared. And when you are forged, when you have walked through the fire and emerged steel, there will be no circumstance that can break you. You will not merely survive under pressure, you will thrive within it. You will operate at a level others cannot imagine. Because you have built the capacity, because you have embraced the process, because you have become what few ever dare to become, unbreakable. And in that moment, when the world watches, when history is made, when lives are changed, you will know that the pressure was never your enemy. It was your gift, your teacher, your forge. It was the path to becoming the person the world needs, but seldom finds. So stand now, train now, choose now. Embrace the pressure the world will surely send and smile as you do, because you are no longer one who fears it. You are one who welcomes it. You are one who will not fail. You are one who will rise. And when the fires rage and the weight bears down, you will not fold, you will stand, because you were forged for this, and you will be remembered for it. And now that you see clearly, now that the illusions have burned away, understand this final truth. The choice was never about the pressure. It was always about you. Pressure does not choose its victims. It does not single out the unprepared. It simply arrives, unannounced, uninvited, indifferent, And when it does, the choice is not whether the pressure will come. It is whether you will rise. This is what separates the few from the many. The many shrink. They abdicate responsibility, they point fingers, they explain away their weakness as circumstance. But the few take ownership. They say, "This is my moment. This is my test. This is the weight that will forge my will." They do not run from the fire, they walk into it, because they have built a mind that will not break. And that is what I leave you with. Build that mind. Do not seek to escape difficulty. Seek to expand your capacity for it. Do not crave a lighter burden. Build a stronger back. Do not ask for an easier path. Sharpen your feet to walk the harder one. Because when you do, something remarkable happens. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to believe, not in some abstract future, but in the person you are becoming. And belief, true belief, is the most powerful force on earth. It is what carried Lincoln through a nation's darkest hour. It is what kept Ford building when others mocked his vision. It is what led Edison to light the world when the world laughed in darkness. And it is what will carry you through the fires, through the storms, through the relentless hammer of life that breaks the weak and reveals the worthy. And when that day comes, when the weight bears down and others crumble, you will not. You will stand. Not because you are perfect, not because you are immune to fear, not because you were gifted some rare talent, but because you chose the harder path when no one was watching. You trained when it would have been easy to rest. You built when others talked. You persisted when others quit. And in doing so, you transformed the very fabric of who you are. You became one of the few, one of the rare, one of the forged. And when the world sees you now, walking through the fire with steel in your spine and clarity in your eyes, they will not understand. They will call you lucky. They will call you gifted. Let them, because you will know the truth. You built this, brick by brick, rep by rep, hour by hour, sacrifice by sacrifice, and no one can take it from you. So walk forward. Now embrace the path, welcome the pressure, and when the world sends its heaviest weights, when life dares you to fold, you will smile and say, "I was built for this. I will not break. I will rise." And so you will, not once, not twice, but every single time, until the world knows your name, until history bears your mark, until you become the living embodiment of this truth. You do not fail under pressure. You become unstoppable within it. Now go and become that person. Your time is here. Your forge is waiting. Step in and rise.